Top NBA free agents. It's time to take a look at who's going to be hitting the free agent market in the 2022-2023 season and rank the best free agents available in the NBA. You only get a few times in your whole career to be courted by multiple teams and maximize your value, and these are the guys that get the chance. Coming in at number 5, we've got TJ Warren. TJ Warren is a super interesting case of player progression and opportunity. He's a 28-year-old, 6'8" small forward that was drafted out of North Carolina State at 14th overall to the Suns in the 2014 draft. He spent 5 seasons in Phoenix and didn't turn himself into a starter until his 3rd year. He's had some injury problems throughout his career, as he's only played in 60 games 3 times in his 7-year career. But when he's playing, he's a bona fide bucket. His best year was in Indiana in 2019, when he averaged a shade under 20 points per game, 4 boards, and 2 assists on 40% shooting from 3 and 54% shooting from the field. He's not a threat for the heralded 50-40-90 club, as he shoots 78% from the line for his career, but the 50-40 club deserves its praise too. He's only played 4 games this year due to injury, and I think the fact that he's had bad injury luck his whole career is going to prevent him from getting the money that he probably should get this summer. He signed a 4-year, $47 million extension with Phoenix in 2017 before he was traded to Indiana in 2019, and it's hard to predict what the market will be like for him this summer. I can absolutely see him taking a 1-year prove-it deal for a contender similar to Victor Oladipo with the Heat this year. At number 4, we've got Jusuf Nurkic. Nurkic is a 6'11" center out of Bosnia who went to Denver as the 16th pick in the 2014 NBA draft. He made the All-Rookie team in 2014 and has been pretty consistent throughout his entire career. Also, like TJ Warren, he had his best year in 2019, averaging 18 points a game, 10 boards, and 4 assists, and shooting 50% from the field and 89% from the free throw line. The free throw shooting that year was probably an anomaly, as he's only topped 70% one other time in his 7-year career. Nurkic was playing very well this year before his injury, averaging 15 points and 11 boards while being the second option while Dame Lillard sat out this year with his injury issues. It'll be interesting to see what Portland decides to do with Nurkic. With Dame trade rumors looming, it's clear the option to blow this whole thing up is on the table, and that means letting your 27-year-old starting center walk instead of offering big money. Further, with centers like Drummond, Thomas Bryant, Mo Bamba, and DeAndre Ayton also in the free agent market this summer, you can make the argument there are better options in terms of value or flat-out potential. Nurkic's agent is Rich Paul, so he won't be taking a tiny deal regardless. He's gonna get paid. Coming in at number 3 on the list, we've got DeAndre Ayton. Ayton was a 6'11", number 1 overall pick to Phoenix in 2018. He made the All-Rookie team that year and has performed well in his 4-year career, averaging 16 points, 11 boards, and 2 assists, and 60% from the field. You can count on him to hit his free throws at a good clip for a big man too, as he's at 75%. The interesting thing about Ayton's market is that he was eligible to sign a 5-year, $173 million max extension. But the Suns' ownership believes that Ayton doesn't belong in the same tier as Luka Doncic, Trae Young, and other max extension candidates from the 2018 NBA draft class. Ayton's reps say that he wasn't going to sign for anything less than the max because of his performance and his potential, as well as the market. The Suns were open to a 3 or 4-year max, but they didn't want to be tied to those extra couple of years. I think Ayton will end up leaving the Suns because if they couldn't get a deal done while they're winning and competing for championships, it's definitely about getting the most money and security for Ayton going forward. Personally, like I mentioned for Nurkic, I think Ayton should have taken Phoenix's best offer. Without the ability to shoot threes, stretch the floor, I'm more inclined to bet on a cheaper option at center than pay Ayton huge money. But his agents are obviously confident he'll get it done. At number 2, we've got Miles Bridges. The 6'6" forward out of Michigan State went to the Hornets in the 2018 NBA draft. His previous 3 seasons aren't really worth mentioning because he really came onto the scene and made a name for himself this year in particular. He's averaging 20 points per game, 4 assists, 7 boards, 49% from the field, 33% from 3 while taking 6 per game, and 81% from the line. With LaMelo Ball on board, it's clear the Hornets want Ball to be the focal point of the offense, so I'm curious how much they'd be willing to pay before they let Bridges walk. Represented by Rich Paul of Clutch Sports, Bridges said his agent talked him out of signing the 4-year, $60 million extension that Charlotte put on the table for him this year. His max offer sheet is worth $130 million over 4 years, and even though he probably won't get that because he's only had one season worth being in that stratosphere, in this free agent class, the bidding could get hefty. At number 1, this one's a no-brainer. You've got Zach LaVine. LaVine is a super interesting case study. I can't wait to see what happens with him. The 6'5" scorer out of UCLA went 14th to Minnesota in 2014. He proceeded to make the all-rookie team, and then was traded to Chicago for his 4th year. And his career took off in the 5th year after the Bulls had matched his 4-year, $78 million offer sheet. In his best year, he averaged 27, 5, and 5 in 2020, with a near 50-40-90 season, with an 85% free throw percentage being the only barrier keeping him out of that. Bulls are legit contenders in the East now, and I doubt they'll want to break it up. The Bulls could give him the standard max, which would be 5 years for $210 million with an opt-out in the final year, allowing LaVine to get one more crack at a big contract when he's 31. The Bulls play poorly in the playoffs and it doesn't look like the team can compete on the big stage. He could also sign the full max with another team, which is 4 years, $156 million, which would also be available as a sign-and trade if the Bulls wanted to get something in return. That deal would put LaVine back in the market as a 30-year-old. Zach LaVine is the unquestioned number 1 talent in this summer's free agent market. Before you leave, listen to this message from our sponsors at OddsJam. They have an amazing product that can help you maximize your prop betting profits.
Here's an example from OddsJam of just how crazy the sports betting market is. You have all these books running around trying to set their lines independently. So here we can see an example from the Yankees-Twins game tomorrow. The Twins, for example, are plus 180 on BetMGM. They're plus 215 on Fox Bet. Could you ever imagine placing a bet plus 180 odds on BetMGM if you knew you were getting plus 215 on Fox Bet? It's absurd.